That exchange you're about to watch isn't just a heated Senate moment. It's a window into how criminal justice reform gets sold to the country. Through ambiguity, through moral posturing, and through language that sounds compassionate, until you ask one direct question. Because this isn't just about a witness and a senator arguing. It's about whether the people shaping policy can even stand behind what's written in their own playbooks. And when the question becomes simple, do you renounce it, define it, own it? Watch what happens. Because what happens next shows you why this debate is bigger than one hearing.
The Community Justice Action Fund is, do you disclose your donors?
Yes.
All of the donors are public?
Yes.
You're funded by the Tides Advocacy Group, among others?
They're a fiscal sponsor.
This is, right,
They
that would be
handle
a
our
donor.
HR.
Yeah, This is a George Soros funded group?
No.
He's one of the donors?
No.
He's a donor to the Tides Advocacy Group?
Yeah, that's our fiscal sponsor. So they handle our HR, our back office, our operations.
Great, okay, great. So in other words, I mean,
We're one of 300 organizations.
right, that they run. You are a
Yes,
subset
we
of them.
pay them to be a fiscal sponsor.
Well, you are a subset of that organization, which he helps to fund, right? Okay. All right. Just wanted to get a level set here. So I want to ask you about some of the policies that you've advocated, because they're exactly what we see implemented in these blue cities, like defunding
Yes.
the police.
No.
Oh, indeed. Let
That's
me just
not- we
quote to you
advocate
from-
for
Wait, I
investing.
haven't asked a question yet. We'll get to. I've got a lot of questions. Believe me, and I'll give you time. So let's talk about this report that you issued when you were executive director, a policymaker's playbook. And I'll ask you to enter it into the record, Mr. Chairman. Great.
Without objection.
Thank you. In this report, you advocate, and I quote now, defunding the police because the long-term goal is fundamentally to reimagine how the state serves its citizens in the project of public safety. You go on to say police departments traumatize residents through a destructive cycle of racist over-policing, and the answer is not to add any more money to police budgets. Talk to me about, I mean, why is it that denying policing to the most vulnerable communities is a solution? I know that's what the blue cities are doing, but why is that a good idea?
Well, look, I in no way stand with defunding law enforcement. I mean,
That's what your report says.
Sheriff Mike Sheridan's who taught me how to drive when I was 16 years old.
Wait. Your report, when
And,
you were executive director, said you wanted to defund the police. Do you renounce this report? Mr. Jackson, do you renounce the report that you authored as executive director? Here it is.
You're the second senator to bring up an op-ed
This isn't an op-ed. This is your report, a policymaker's playbook to reduce gun violence without policing communities.
Okay.
Community Justice Action Fund, copyright 2023, when you were executive director. Now you say you don't know anything about it. Now you say that you haven't heard of it, just like the Democrats who all of a sudden say, oh, we're all for the police. They've been advocating defunding them for years.
Okay, well, you can look at documents or you can look at results.
My question is, do you renounce this report now? You say you no longer agree with this.
And my answer is that I led the efforts to invest $42 billion in law enforcement.
You've advocated defunding the police as executive director of an organization that you still lead and are affiliated with.
Never see me advocate for that directly. What you see me advocate for
what is this,
is
then?
a comprehensive approach to reducing violence.
Right, the comprehensive approach is defunding
law
the police,
enforcement is a
which is
part of
what
the
this
ecosystem
says.
the entire time.
This is so typical of what the Democrats do now. After your policies have transparently failed and led to the deaths of millions of Americans, now you say you've never heard of defunding the police. Your own report recommends it on page after page after page. Let me ask about something else you say. Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report.
If you look at the report, the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
You say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit individuals.
We are not going to discriminate
what is that?
We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that
what
wants
is
to help us prevent violence in our community.
What is two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or the
you wrote the
spirit of how that was
report.
written. But what I'm telling you is that what
is a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your policymaker's playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views.
Well,
you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about reducing
Oh, no, sir.
violence.
You're looking at somebody who's
You're also
reading you
speaking
your
out
own
against
words, and I'd like to hear an
violence
answer.
programs.
Here's the answer. The answer is you don't have any solutions. You want to invest in gobbledygook and take away money from police officers who actually keep our communities safe, and when you're called on the record, you deny it. It's all there in
invested
black and
law
white, and your
enforcement.
record is there in black and white,
solutions.
and it's a disgrace.
We reduced homicides by 31%, and as someone who's been shot and nearly killed, I take offense that you would think that
I
the
take
last
offense
13
that you
years
won't answer my
were not
questions,
focused on
that you
reducing
deny your
violence.
own words, and that you are leading this committee astray. And frankly, sir, your policies are absurd. They're absurd.
I don't think we're getting any place, so let's,
Now let's confront the reality head on. What you just saw was not a misunderstanding. It was a strategy. A strategy built on one idea: keep everything vague enough that nobody can be held responsible. Look at the structure of the exchange. The senator starts with basics. Who are you? What roles did you hold? What organization are you tied to? Who funds it? And immediately you can feel the tension. Because once the money trail is discussed, the conversation stops being abstract. It becomes accountable. It becomes measurable. And that's exactly when the witness tries to narrow it down to back office, HR, operations. Not the point. The point is influence. The point is who steers the agenda when nobody is voting on it. Then comes the real pressure test: the document, the record, the words on paper. And here's the key: the senator doesn't ask for a speech. He asks for a yes or no. Do you renounce it? That is the moment that separates serious leadership from performative politics. Because anyone can say they want safe communities. Anyone can say they support a comprehensive approach. But when you're confronted with what your side has been pushing in writing, the fog rolls in. The answer gets slippery. The phrasing changes. The witness tries to escape into credentials. I worked in the White House. He tries to escape into emotion. I'm a survivor. But let's be clear. Being a survivor doesn't answer the question, and it doesn't erase the record. And then we hit the part that should make every normal American lean forward: the jargon test. What is two-spirit? Now pause. This is not about mocking anyone's identity. Two-spirit is a term with cultural meaning in some Native communities. That's not the point. The point is this: if you're going to cite categories and concepts as justification for funding priorities, if you're going to tell America what should be financed and what should be cut, you should be able to explain the words you're using. Because if you can't define it, you can't defend it. And if you can't defend it, why are you asking taxpayers to fund it? But the witness doesn't answer. He shrugs it off. He implies the quotes are being cherry-picked. He tries to redirect to outreach workers. And here's what that reveals. The agenda isn't built for clarity. It's built for insulation, so that when crime rises, nobody's responsible. When communities suffer, nobody's accountable. When voters demand answers, they're told it's complex. This isn't just X, it's Y. It's not just a policy dispute. It's a moral inversion, because the people who pay first for weak enforcement are not the elites in gated neighborhoods. It's the working families. It's the vulnerable communities. It's the places where reimagining turns into sirens, boarded windows, and fear. And did you notice what was avoided the entire time? The simple admission. I was wrong. That language went too far. We shouldn't have normalized defunding rhetoric. That never comes. Because admitting that would collapse the narrative. It would force a reckoning. It would force the question they fear most. If your ideas were so compassionate, why did they leave people less safe? So here's the bottom line. When someone can't own their own words, they're telling you something loudly without saying it. They want the power of policy without the burden of accountability. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe. Share this with someone who still thinks defund was just a slogan that never mattered. And in the comments, tell me, what was the clearest dodge in that clip? And why do you think they avoided the simplest answer?